the Holy Land, where Africans prayed. Minute by minute, hour by hour, as you lose your history, you lose your power. So sharpen your eyes, tune your ear, so you know what you see, understand what you hear. End of the poem. Between August 7th and 10th of 2007, I attended the 24th Annual Ancient Kemetic Egyptian Studies Conference, organized by the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations in Aswan, Egypt. The conference opened my eyes. Sir E.A. Wallace Berg, Berg spelled B-U-D-G-E, the British Egyptologist who supposedly deciphered, transliterated, and translated the papyrus of Ani into what we know today as the Book of the Dead, concluded that the civilization he was involved in researching did not start in Africa. What nonsense. Not so sure himself, he could not even think about a civilization of that magnitude to be accomplished by Africans. So he went around trying to locate a people more advanced than Africans who brought this civilization to Africa. According to Sir E.A. Wallace Berg, on the back cover of his book, Egyptian Language, Lesson in Egyptian Hieroglyphics, and also in the introductory of the Book of the Dead, this is what he concluded. It is unlikely that the hieroglyphic system was invented in Egypt. Evidence indicates that was brought there by invaders who came from Northeast or Central Asia and settled in the valley of the Nile, somewhere between Memphis in the north and Thebes in the south, gradually establishing their civilization and religion in their new home. I think the goal of Sir Wallace Berg is to write Africans out of history. Instead of looking in Africa for answers, he had left Africa behind and traveled to an unknown land, an unknown people, to credit them for a civilization that took hold on African soil. Linguistically, Memphis is a misnomer. The correct name for this city is Mamfe. Mamfe is a town in Akropong in eastern region of Ghana. The area is inhabited by the Akwapim people of Ghana. They are ancient people still existing in modern times. The Akwapims can trace their antecedents to ancient Kemet. Why one of the pyramids named Khufu is a name still given to Akwapim children is beyond my comprehension. The Akufus, even today, still hold leadership positions as their ancestors did in ancient Kemet. Mr. Edward Akufo-Addo was the second president of Ghana after the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah. He also held the position of Chief Justice. Besides former Chief Justice, Lieutenant General Fred Akufo was chairman of the Supreme Military Council from 1978 to 1979 and head of state of Ghana. He was born at Akropong, a town I have already mentioned above. The evidence I have displayed on this page alone strongly refutes Sir Wallace Berg's conclusion. Bigotry would not allow Sir Wallace Berg to look to Africa for an answer. Let us take a look at two pictures of the, we're going to take a look at the two pictures of the Akufos momentarily. There is another Mamfe in the sister state of Cameroon. Is this by coincidence? As I indicated earlier, Sir Wallace Berg who had deciphered, transliterated, and translated the papyrus of Ani, but would not give credit to Africans for writing it, and did not even care to find out where the name Ani came from. Ani is a northern Ghanaian name. It is a Kassena name. The Kassena share boundaries with the Nankansi, a misnomer of Grunsi or Frafra people. A female member of the Kassena people can be named Anu. It is also an Akwapium name. Should Africans allow Sir Wallace Berg's conclusion to stand? With this editorial, let us go back and look at Listervelt's Middleton's poem, The Origins of Things. Middleton is talking to a black child. Look around you, black child. Your creation is everywhere. Though painted, distorted, and given new names, they bear your prints just the same. Your creations are everywhere. Take, for example, the writer or scribe who authored the papyrus of Ani, that was later deciphered, transliterated, and translated by Sir Wallace Berg. This is purely an African author whose work has been plagiarized and credited to Sir Wallace Berg. Even though it has been given a new name, the Book of the Dead, it stays the same. Ani is an African name, and no matter how others wanted to spin it, the papyrus of Ani was written in Africa by an African. On August 12, 2007, after ASCA conference in Aswan, Egypt, we went on a tour to a city called Dendera. It was an interesting place to visit. Why? Because I got to learn something profound from its history. I got to learn that the original name of this city was spelled I-W-N-I. I-W-N-I phonetically should be pronounced Awuni. Awuni in Guruni and among most tribes in northern Ghana means God. No child is named Awuni unless the child is a twin male. Normally, the first child is named Awuni, and the second child is either named Atenga, which means land, or Anaba, which means king. For Sir E.A. Wallace Berg to deny Africans Nile Valley civilization or high culture and go outside Africa to give credit to an unknown people is nothing but pure bigotry. This is what Middleton is telling this black child. Manfi, the original name of this ancient city, ancient Kemetic city, Ramses II built, was given a new name, but it remains the same. Memphis, the given name, has reintroduced its originality. As I said, this is a tribute to Listervelt Middleton. And this slide, the honorary ancestor, Listervelt Middleton, living enduringly. This is the stanza used from the origins of things. Minute by minute, hour by hour, as you lose your history, you lose your power. So sharpen your eyes, tune your ear so that you know what you see, understand what you hear. The Dogon people of Mali and the Frafra or Grusi people of Ghana It is well documented that the Dogon people of Mali left ancient Kemet around 4000 BC. There is no such documentation of the Frafra or the Grushis of Ghana. Yet there are striking similarities between these two peoples that can conclude that they may have been the same tribal group that got separated during their movement from ancient Kemet. Continuing the Dogon people and the Frafra people or the Grushis of Ghana, the Dogon people discovered that the smallest planet in the universe is the size of a grain of millet, yet it is also the heaviest in weight. They call this planet Polo Tolo. These two words are so similar to the Guruni words, a stranger will not know the difference. The only difference is that the words are separated by two vowels. Whereas in Dogon, the words end with an O, in Guruni, they end with an E. Polo, Pole, Tolo, Tole. This is the background to the tribute. I chose the works because the understanding of my past and connection to the land many different races would rather claim to be their own while denying Africans the right to do so. This is my story before I do this honor to this great man. The next slide continues to be the Dogon and the Frafra people. The Dogon are legendary astronomers who should be recognized as members of the various groups who created the Nile Valley civilization or high culture. But they are denied the credit because they are black Africans. The same credit should be given to the Frafras because their antecedents can easily be verified. They have also maintained their writing through the prophetic deity. In this writing, a rope means father, and pelvic bone stands for mother. This slide introduces ancestor Middleton as we know him, his good works, his contributions to the African retrieval of ancient information once hidden from us. He did it in many ways. His most recognized contribution comes from his poem, The Origin of Things, especially this powerful stanza, Minute by Minute. But who was Listervelt Middleton? Listervelt Middleton was born in 1952 in Pineville, South Carolina. As a young man, he was inspired by his parents to excel in his studies. He did so well in his studies after graduating from college with a degree in political journalism. Middleton went on to work for South Carolina Educational Television Network as a producer and host of For the People. Middleton provided an intellectual forum for the understanding of African history with the goal of properly placing African people in human history. Not willing to leave any stone unturned, Middleton concentrated not only on the interviewing of prominent scholars, he relied on his own written word in poetry to convey his message to the masses. This producer and host of divine speech in African traditionalism is relying on one of his classics, Southern Winds, African Breezes, to reconstruct Africans' place in human history.